motion we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay,
You second, Steve?
second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Okay.
Public comment?
Why don't we move public comments to the bottom?
That's fine.
Because we should typically...
That's fine.
Manifest and payroll.
I make a motion we accept the manifest on payroll as presented.
Second, so moved. Alright. Nineteenth.
It
Yep.
is. Perfect timing.
Hey, Mr.
Alright.
Chairman,
That's all right.
we got some of the mundane things out of the way.
Things on that.
Yeah, so we got through...
We're up to new business.
up to new business, so it's just sign this one.
All right. Well, let's go into new business.
New business, yeah.
Yep, new business, with the vacancy in our treasurer position, I just wanted to let the board know that there's an option in the law to allow the district annual meeting to vote to appoint a treasurer. And I thought you'd want to talk about that, and I also have it in the draft warrant, and we can talk about it as we go through the warrant to see if you want to include it
Okay.
more, okay? But it would require a warrant article, and
Mhm.
and just, I guess I can talk about it now. If someone were elected, because that would happen before the annual meeting, they would serve 1 year, and then the board would be able to appoint somebody for a term or no term.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just an option.
Right.
Okay.
We had discussed that a little bit last time, right?
Mhm. And does that mean that the
Current
going forward?
appointee?
Sorry?
The current appointee?
No, I was saying about going to the future. It would revert to.
No, it would always be appointed until the town meeting changed it back.
I see.
Yeah, a district meeting.
District
You know what I mean,
meeting, yes,
annual
okay.
meeting, yeah.
All right.
It would be within the board's purview to appoint a treasurer until such time as the,
Is there a benefit to one versus the other?
well,
I think that's a perception of
Right.
I mean, certainly one that we appoint, is more aligned with board.
But they don't have voting.
well,
Well,
I
They
think,
don't have
you know
voting
what,
privileges
I'm not,
like we do.
I-
So
well, they don't, but, certainly an elected person would, I think would be more independent from us if they were elected.
I was
Yeah.
thinking more of the trouble finding somebody who might be qualified.
well, I think you might have more trouble. I think the Carol Elliott's and the Carol Garrity's are not
They're rare.
necessarily to be found anymore, right? So
Right.
this would give the board more flexibility to find somebody.
Gotcha.
And also if the person didn't happen to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Even if they are appointed, they are still required to live in the district. Is that correct or not?
Oh, yes.
They are.
Good question. That's a really good question. Let me research that, yeah.
Because theoretically, if they don't need to be in the district, we could get
Yeah.
a contractor
Yeah,
to do it, right?
it's not addressed in the statute.
Yeah.
That's a good
Something
question.
we should find
Yeah,
out.
no, I'll find out, for sure.
I mean, obviously, if they're elected, they would have to be living, but
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Right, yeah, you have to be on the
Right.
voter checklist to be an elected official.
Right.
Live in the district.
And I presume that is the same for commissioners too.
Oh, yes,
All
we
commissioners
have
have
to
to
be
live
in
in,
the
yeah.
Right.
district.
You can't, and you can't be appointed.
Right.
Well, I guess
Just
I
to
was
fill a
thinking.
term.
No, I was thinking more of the requirement that one live in the district.
Yes.
You
As
must.
opposed to
In the
right.
district. Yep.
Have
Yeah.
to.
Have to.
Yeah, you must live in the district.
Have to.
Okay.
Yeah, but that, I didn't see one way or the other in the statute, so I'll explore further.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
That's good. Thank you. That was
Yeah, that's a really good
that
question.
rounded out the
Yeah.
knowledge on that.
Yeah.
The Primex 3-year agreement.
Yes, and we did this last year.
We did.
So this would be a renewal through 2021, and the cap that is offered, I think it's 9%. But I don't think, this is on property liability, and we have such a good record recently. Yeah, it is 9%.
Yeah.
That, yeah, our insurances for workers' comp, unemployment comp, and property liability should be very static,
Yep.
or maybe
Minimal.
even reduced a little bit. So that would take a vote of the board and then a signature by the chair.
I make a motion that we accept the Primex 3-year agreement with a contribution cap of 9%.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't think there's much dispute
Well,
there.
they do a great job. There's three
All right,
statutes.
so next up would be the, this is
Internet
the-
company,
This is the water, the antenna on the water tower. I take
Right.
it. There we are.
I don't have any more. Chris asked a couple questions. I get back to the gentleman. He's so new, I don't think there's much track record to,
There's no track record.
yeah, I'm trying to be circumspect. Yeah, he doesn't have a track record, so we can't tell me where he's worked before or how it's worked. He won't, this would be his startup.
Yeah, this was a pilot project.
So, I don't have any feelings about it at all. Jason didn't seem to think it would bother the water operation. You know, we want Primex to weigh in, you know,
Right.
Even if it wasn't that, I mean, just the idea of a private business using public resources, it's weird.
well, I mean, it would be a rental situation, but still.
But that's weird.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
still
don't,
weird too.
I'm not arguing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It would be
Well,
like
I mean-
renting. It would be like the police department renting a space on their antenna mask for somebody to. I mean,
Comcast,
yeah,
Right.
that just
right.
doesn't.
I know, the stuff's on
doesn't,
Tenny Mountain
doesn't
Highway.
pass the squeaky test. You
Yeah.
know, it's unusual.
Right, it's different than
Right.
an agreement we have with the town for the public works area. I mean, we lease them that, but that for $1, but that's,
Yeah,
But that's two
That's two
political
public
subdivisions.
entities.
and it's not a profit, it's not
Right,
a
it's two
for-profit.
public entities.
That's like the
Right.
elementary school and the high school working together on
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
so shall I tell the gentleman no, thank you?
Yes.
Not
Yes.
really, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
I think I would agree, it has to be that way.
Okay.
Okay, warrant review, I
Yep.
guess. is
Yep, and
next.
So we have 10 projects.
Oh, yeah. Did you find out if you could bundle them?
Yeah, I'm bundling.
You're bundling.
I'm bundling. First of all, with the election, we have a 3-year commissioner seat. We have an opening for treasurer, 3-year term, and that would continue even if we want to change it. District clerk is up, 3-year term, and the moderator, 2-year term. So we've got everybody this time around. So we've got 10 projects. When I consulted with Renelle Lahoulier, whose name I love to say, our bond counsel, her advice was, it should be one purpose for each bond issue, one purpose. But we have several projects that are water and sewer line replacement. So you can see where my mind was going, like, what can we bundle? So we don't have 10 ballot votes,
God, that's
right?
just
And
horrible.
I just wanted to have one for water projects, one for sewer projects.
Can't
but
do it.
Nah, she didn't. And I don't want to run afoul of the Department of Revenue, just follow the rules and, you know.
Right.
So, Article 2, which would be water and sewer line replace, would include the Main and Warren Street, and then water and sewer line on Main phases 2 and 3, pump 1 force main on Main and Green, which is sewer, and then Bailey Ave and Langdon Park Road. So it's a lot of places, but it's all water and sewer line replace, which Renelson
Works.
to think, yeah, when I sent her this lineup, after she gave me initial advice, she just deleted an extra parentheses, like she was fine with, she had
Okay.
no other comment. So that would be the first bond issue, and then the
How
second.
much is that, the first? Do you have it totaled, or is it all individual?
No, it's all individual at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, that one alone is 10,900,000. So the water source and distribution, so I lumped the new well stuff with the distribution system coming across the intervale
Yes.
Right.
as one purpose. And that would be Article 3, and that's $2,925,000.
Right, as we discussed.
125,000.
Right.
So the third one is a standalone, and this isn't part of any grant stuff. I don't mean to keep saying stuff, but a generator for the Foster Street wells, and so that's a standalone, its own purpose, 150,000.
That's a
And-
heck of a generator.
Yeah,
Well, it's running.
Yeah, it's gotta run what it's gotta
A
run, I
monster
get it,
pump,
yeah.
it's got to run. And Jason did tell me, because I quizzed him on how old the one is that's there, and I can't remember, but it's old.
I
Pump,
thought we just replaced a generator in there, but that must be in the well building.
no, I asked him, this one, I've forgotten now, we can, you
Okay.
know, I'm sort of past that, and
I think maybe we sold one to
Maybe.
one point
We
with
were
the
just
the
doing
vehicle.
we
something with
sold
the generator.
We sold like a mobile generator or something.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
But we bought a
okay.
new one.
Okay, that's fine.
Pump one improvements is here, across the street, and that's $1,500,000, $500,000 to get ready for all of the other.
Right, the stuff coming across the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah. And also, we have to get with PSU when we do this project to make sure we're planning in case they do put up another dorm.
All well,
We don't wanna
second,
ha-
the
you know,
second all well?
3, if they do, they don't know
Right.
yet. I have up to date, that it's uncertain, so. So number 6 would be the septic receiving unit, and that is up to $1,550,000. So that would be the 5 bond issues,
So we cut it in half.
cut it in half.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, if that gets us through, and Bobby will move it along, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Less than last year, numerically.
No,
These
Oh,
are all
was it?
have to be ballot though.
no, those are the ones that are open
We're
for an
not-
hour. We only had 2 of those last year.
Yes.
Two-
Yeah,
two or
we're,
three.
she's not done yet.
Right,
No, I meant total.
right.
That's what I mean is she's not done yet.
So the next
But
one
wait,
would
there's
be
more.
Right.
deposits into capital reserve for water. So that would be all the water, you want to,
Right. No,
okay. And then sewer. And I have these together, but I may have to separate them because some of the sewer deposits into capital reserve will come from income from departments, normal operating budget. Some is going to be moved over, as we discussed last week, from fund balance.
I think if I remember correctly, that we've done that before, but you just break it out in
Yeah, I
the
know.
warrant article
I'm-
where the money's coming from.
I'm trying that one. I
Okay.
sent it into the DRA today for their preview.
Okay,
And if they make me break it out, I'll break
Right.
it out, but otherwise, I have listed it separately and it's very clear. So the 8th one is to establish the contingency fund, which is not really to establish it, but to continue it. You have to do a
Right.
warrant article for that every year. And then there's sewer, I think it's in sewer, asset management
the asset management grant.
which is 100% revolving loan, 100% loan principal forgiveness. And it's only, in our terms, $30,000, but we have to have
Right.
its own warrant article, and it has to be a 2/3 paper ballot vote to do it.
Wow, so
Yeah.
we've got 6.
Yeah, and we did that, but that's not an hour.
Right,
It's just
but we've
2/3
got 6
right.
paper.
But that's for a small DES grant. And then if we want to vote to change the treasurer position to appointed. And then the last one, and I don't have all the numbers separated
Right,
out
for
yet,
the-
is the operating fund. The whole, the rest.
The big.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that's.
So what do
anybody
we
that
have,
Thinks of
12?
anything else that,
We have 12?
12 what? 12 articles, yeah.
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 Okay.
So hopefully hopefully DRA will like that too. They may make me switch to one.
Mm.
But we're early, and I like having the pre-review because and we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, and don't have to fuss with them later.
Well, on to old business.
Yep.
Got the
So.
carryovers into 2018.
Yeah, Jason and Fred and Cindy have done a great job just kind of knocking the encumbrances off. And we've got a few, we've got 2 hydrants that are supposed to come, we'll get a bill for that. So we still have some minor encumbrances that I know what they are and I know when we can expect to get billing in on, which leaves our big projects, and those carry over automatically.
Right.
They just, because they're special warrant articles, they carry over. But there's the Foster Street, it's the main Route 3 from Foster to Highland, the pre-planning grant. There's a balance of $27,547.33, which is what's on your agenda, to be carried over into 18. They haven't finished spending the money. And by the way, so let me just back up for a minute. We had 5 $30,000 small pre-planning grant items, which were extraordinarily difficult for at least me to keep straight, although I had them on the whiteboard. And which one was it? Are they finishing when the bill comes in? Which one? Which one was it?
Right, which one's getting deducted?
Right. So this one, and I want to tell you this because I just learned it last week, this is not yet part of a 50/50 grant, which I assumed they were all. I've had it labeled as a 50/50 grant all year. Red Pierce is going to apply for it though in this next round, so it may be.
Okay.
It may still be. I mean, we probably still would have spent the $30,000, but.
Right.
So that's 27,547 that needs to be carried over if that's what you'd like to do. And then the planning for the pump station 1, which was a $150,000 item, but I don't think we're going to spend that much money. There's an encumbrance of $85,949 and 62 cents for that one, but I believe we're going to come in under budget there. So those would be 2 numbers that I would ask that the board would vote to carry over into 2018 to allow for spending then.
We need that motion now.
Oh, yeah.
I make a motion that we carry $27,547.33 for the Route 3 Foster to Highland, with the potential to get a 50/50 grant, and $85,949.62 for pump number 1 improvement.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, and the auditors look for this vote, so.
Mhm.
Well,
that-
we did
that's-
a good job this time,
You did a great job.
because I think we've forgotten a couple of years ago. The pre-U.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't, not going there.
Okay.
We're good now.
We actually, they don't mind if you do it like the first meeting in January too much, but they don't want us to vote to carry money over in February. And the other item of old business, I wanted to give you a little wrap-up on Foster Street and the well improvements. In water, both of those, let's see, the well house improvements, we budgeted $385,000 budgeted. We only borrowed $230,000 because Jason basically served as like the general contractor. A lot of the work we did in-house, and they were able to, so we only borrowed $230,000, but I think that the expenditure, if we are finished, and my sources tell me we are, is only about $170,000.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's nice.
yeah,
We're
so
nearly finished.
I think the well house is finished. Foster Street, maybe it isn't, but
Oh, okay, yeah,
there was a big bill paid for Apex or something yesterday or today, so there may be some dribs and drabs, but I'm pretty sure we're there for the well house.
well, hats off to staff then
Hats off to
for
staff, yeah.
doing that extra work and saving us.
Yeah, and so I'm sort of mindful, we appropriated $385, we only borrowed $230. We're not spending $230. What happens to the delta? I've never had that much money left over after a project, and it may be I'll check with the auditor, like, what do we do now? We may ask the voters next year to appropriate that for a different purpose,
Right.
or something like that, because we've borrowed the money, the
Can we
230.
pay it back to the principal?
Maybe, I wanna, yes, that's.
Yeah,
I wanna-
because that might be.
Yeah, we should know what our options
Yeah,
are.
I'm just letting you
Right,
know
yep.
that I,
So are we talking about
well, for
in
that.
March? Are you talking about in March or the following year?
No, the following, so we get an audit and,
Okay, all right.
yeah. And for the Foster Street, similar story, we appropriated 621, which, by the way, I told Chris Berg, the engineer, he seems to overestimate and his
His
cohort
cohort doesn't.
underestimates. So that was 621,000, and we only borrowed 533,000. Piper's bid was good, it was low. Things fell pretty well. And we think of the 533, that may come in at about 450,000,
Nice.
right?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
And as far as Foster Street goes, in the spring, we will be doing the rest of the paving.
there's an overlay that's
Right.
scheduled, yes,
So the road will be back to the way it's supposed to be.
yes,
And
Good.
that's part of the 450?
yes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
now that snow is upon us, paving is not an option.
it's not an
so-
option now, right? There were a couple of places where they called to take tests that didn't hold up because everybody acknowledged they were paving when it was cold.
Right.
And Piper's, that's
Right,
on
that'll be
Piper,
repaired in the
Yeah, and
spring.
he knows,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
That's great. So I'm glad to hear that all we have left is to fix the road and pave the road,
Yeah.
and we're done. Nice.
I thought you'd be glad to hear, this is always good
Yeah.
news when
Right.
projects come in.
Come
like
in
this.
under?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. So are we good for new business and old business then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
You want to do public comment before the agenda, before the purchase recs, or after?
I'll do them after. I think we'll do purchase recs next. We have 4 this week.
we have 4 plus the server, I didn't put it on the agenda, but I have a purchase order for you if we're ready for them.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, yet,
We have to sign
as
all
you can
these.
guess by my late arrival, things did not go as planned today, so.
Well, but do you have any changes from what?
Oh, well, I was going to digest and comment further on the purchase versus lease option,
Okay.
and that's something I just
We did this
did not get
based
to.
on the lease, which staff had sort of flushed out.
Yeah, I
don't wanna
have a
push.
much better feeling about, after talking to Mike at
Certified.
Certified, yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to review that so I could speak intelligently to the matter, but
All right, well, here's the other purchase order. We put it on one in case we were ready tonight, we could get it all signed and ready to go, get the thing ordered, but if you're not ready, we'll,
yeah,
or maybe you can think about it
Yeah,
over the
I-
next few minutes.
Yeah, perhaps,
All right.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'd need a few moments of quiet time
Yeah.
to digest it.
That's all right.
It just didn't happen today, but,
So, Mr. Chairman, let me run down through the POs because there's some peculiarities here.
yes.
All right, so the first one, and these are all catch-up purchase orders that should have been done a long time ago. For the Foster Street project, we had a purchase order for Piper's work, but we didn't have one for Wright Pierce's work. So this 118.3, most of it we've already paid, we just didn't pay it under a PO, the formality of a PO. And I keep telling everybody, like, if there's a project and we're paying bills, it needs to be a purchase order if it's a sizable thing. So this 118,300 is the whole of the construction oversight and the residential engineer, including an extra $20,000 for the residential engineer because the project that was supposed to be 60 days was 90 days. So you gotta have the residential engineer there.
yes.
And, this may be something that merits further discussion. We have a job meeting on January 2nd, so I don't want to say too much more about that now, but, so this purchase order includes an extra $20,000, $500. which I was sent an amendment to the Wright Pierce contract, but I did not sign it until I got authority from you folks to do that. And then the next two are the $30,000, one of them is the loan forgiveness, and one of them is the one you just carried over.
Mhm.
And we gotta have purchase orders on the books to,
Right. But
you know,
that,
I would look down through there was no encumbrance in the encumbrance pile because there was no PO to bounce against, so I apologize for all of us for that. And then, let's see, the last one is not remedial, it's brand new. Wright Pierce just sent in our RD applications for all those multi-thousands of dollars I just talked through, and for that effort, they're billing us basically $10,000, $200 for
well,
that grant.
hopefully we get that nice
Hopefully we
grant
do,
money
yeah. Well,
from
Mike
all of that.
Mike Terrio did yeoman's work in very short time without his assistant who had gone on maternity leave, so I know he had to clear the decks to get it all in, he got it in a day early, so,
Mhm.
yeah.
Nice.
So then, other than that, just the server. So I don't know if you have any questions about these, or, it's a weird batch, because
The only thing I was gonna ask was the 118.3. You
Right.
said we've paid a bunch of that. Is that included in the 451?
451. For Foster Street?
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not new money. We
It's
planned
just-
on it,
okay.
it just was the technicality of not having a PO, and,
That's fine.
yeah.
That's
Well,
what I wanna know. I wanna make sure it's not
Exactly.
extra money,
Not exactly fine.
but
We get bills for
my-
things,
Right.
we're gonna have a PO. If, things happen so fast sometimes, in communication, Jason and I are working one end of things, and, we've gotta get a purchase order or get Cindy to create one.
Mhm.
So, it's not, you voted to have the work done and voted to have Wright Pierce.
Right.
It was just.
But like I said, I just wanted to make
mechanical.
sure it was covered under the
Yeah, I know it
451
is.
and it wasn't
Oh,
new
no,
money.
no.
Okay.
No, believe me.
Then I
Yeah, that
will
will-
make a motion that we accept the purchase orders as read and explained.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Public comment? Neil, anything?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Have you come to an agreement with the town of Plymouth superintendent of the roads, Public Works, on
There-
Foster Street construction?
As far as I'm aware, there's been no further discussion in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I think that's,
So you have come to an agreement with the, from the
I think the last correspondence was Jason's letter to, was that to the board or was that to the superintendent? I don't recall.
It was to, I think you call him the highway manager?
Well, he's a highway superintendent.
Right, so-
And it was
so that letter
copied to
outli-
Mr. Ranlett
Right.
and the town administrator.
Right, that's right.
So is that unresolved? This time?
Well, the letter provided a timeline for what had occurred and that what had occurred planning-wise at the various stages, how Joe was at the meetings, the town had signed off on the specifications for the job, and that, we proceeded with the work as everybody was included in those planning efforts. So, there's been no further communication or discussion, since that letter.
Thank you.
Yeah?
I have another, could you elaborate more on the progress of the new well project that you're developing?
In Holderness?
Yeah, just kind of articulate it.
Perhaps there really hasn't been much in the
Just
past.
a general overview.
Well, we are at the point now where we're looking to March to raise funds for the development of the well, so the well field. So that's,
So you're in a position to move forward on it if you do get the funds.
yes.
We've had testing done, exploratory testing, which has been very positive, which we have talked about here out loud several times, both volume and quality.
Would that be a deep well or?
Well, they're,
Deeper
these
than
are,
that well?
these
Yeah,
are-
it'd
these are in
be a
this-
drilled
in-
well. It'd be,
Yeah. But there's a big aquifer there.
yeah, it's turning up to be
Really good.
quite
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah. Okay, that was my question.
Mhm.
And that would, if that's approved in March, then that would be, the work schedule would be...
Yeah, there's already
next
been,
year.
over 2 annual meetings, 2 sums of money were appropriated, and we didn't get started after the first one because we were still trying to get into it, at least with the school.
And that,
Fine.
yeah, so that took,
That
that took
Right,
longer
took a
than we
long,
had
long time.
expected.
Right,
Not because of difficulty, just because of getting
all
together.
the parties involved, yeah.
So that sum totals $375,000, and we have I'll call him the preeminent geologist in the area who happens to live in Meredith, named Jamie Emery and Garrett. He's our expert consultant, and they have done, what their charge is right now with that money is to do exploration, testing, and permitting. So we have funds through permitting phase, but it's going to take, it's going to take some time. But if
So it'll probably be a couple of years.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
your wells that you have now are holding out? They're-
Yeah, the issue has never been about
These wells...
supply on this side. It's always been
Right.
that if there were some type of catastrophic event that contaminated the well field, then we would have no water supply
Yeah.
for Plymouth. So we're moving to a location which
So
everybody believes is more
It might be
secure.
a couple of years before you get it online.
Yes, because it's not only that there's a lot of connecting that to our into our infrastructure.
it could be 2 or more,
Yeah.
really. I mean,
But it's moving forward.
it is moving
Yes.
forward,
Yes.
yes.
For the first time in
Good.
Yeah,
over, 10 or 15 years?
yeah, I
I
guess,
mean, you've
yeah.
got some solid building blocks now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if we get to do that, it'll be a huge coup and benefit to the district drinkers for a long, long time.
And more supply.
More supply, and it's better quality, so it'll actually just taste better
Yeah.
for everybody. And it'll be a redundancy, so we
You
have
still
plenty of
have
water.
that,
And
yeah.
this well, as you may know, is at some risk because of where it's located,
Yeah.
right down from the highway. And it's got a lot of manganese and iron, which we have treated, and I think it's better, but this would be a better quality water from the get-go.
Yeah.
So the most recent idea is to actually drill 2 wells over there. And that seems to be the
Manganese and
aquifer.
iron's quite common.
Yeah, but it's not over there, so
Yeah, that's great.
that's good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Neil, you asked a question at our last meeting. Did that answer make sense to you?
That was about, it was about out the,
You mean the work
Yeah, they were
out
just
there?
cleaning off the top of a,
Yeah. Yeah, I just was
Analyzers.
curious, I saw them working out there.
yeah, we're not doing any work out there, so I didn't know what. I
They
didn't
were
know that-
active.
Yeah, no, but I mean, we don't have a project out there. They were just
Yeah.
cleaning for the mapping.
Maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance, and also so they could access the manhole for the mapping projects.
Yeah.
yeah, they're finishing up the GIS map.
Yeah, there's real estate transactions happening out there. Yeah. And it looks like there's going to be some potential development. We've had inquiries. So.
We sort of mind our
That
own business until.
that line's been brought up quite a bit. You have a new pump station, a new line, new cash plaza that you put in.
It's not new.
Well,
Well, we've made
It's,
some,
we've
made
made
some.
repairs.
You mean
and-
the force main that came across
yeah,
this way?
you put
Before.
new lines
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
replacement, yeah. Mr. Chairman, on a public comment, could I take my district administrator hat off and become a citizen for a few minutes?
I suppose,
Yeah.
yes.
I copied this for you and your board, Neil. This is the Attorney General's guidance on the right to know law. And
Okay,
I thought you folks and maybe your advisors might benefit from reading it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
That's
I'll-
it.
I'll take it home.
Feel free to share it over there.
Yeah,
Any further public comment?
thank you.
Okay. I think that covers
That's it,
everything for this evening.
except the server.
Yeah.
I'm still jonesing for the server.
Sorry about that.
It's your fault.
Well, I say for this evening, we're,
I make a motion, we adjourn?
So,
No?
Well, just before you do,
I'm
you know what,
adjourned.
you could approve it pending Chris's final okay. And then you don't have to come back tomorrow for signatures or whatever.
Do you have the supporting documents?
do.
All right.
Yes, I
Well,
do.
we can
Yeah.
spend 5
All right.
minutes.
We
Great.
can discuss.
Thank you.
We can talk more about broken phones.
6:15. The old server's being leased, it's rented by, because it's
Your
on.
computer?
No, I mean, our server broke, so that we're renting one for the time being, so I'm trying to get that
Oh,
off the rental agreement and get a
it's
new
just a
in motion.
mechanical function.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I can, just to backtrack to previous discussion on this, I had stated, and I feel comfortable with the cost of the replacement server that he quoted, and I felt like it was within an industry acceptable price, and that I also felt like using them, since they have so much experience with municipalities, and specifically with the software Continental that we use, that, you know, that's a huge advantage, that if we go with another company, they're not particularly familiar with that software, that's, you know, which we rely on for every day in this, for the operations here.
Great, and
That's a good reason.
let me just add, their service is great too.
Right, and we have an established track record. So with that in mind, the replacement costs I was comfortable with. As far as, you know, going with, you know, so that would be the purchase option.
Mm-hmm.
But even if we did purchase, we would be in a lease agreement, I mean, in some type
We
of
would
a
need
maintenance,
contract
a
anyway.
maintenance agreement, which would be on the order of, again, I looked up some industry-specific or average costs, and $300 or $400 a month would not be unusual.
So we're talking
Right,
$4,800
the lease
a month.
option was cheaper.
So,
Than the purchase
so if
option.
you take what would be a monthly several $100 costs for a maintenance contract, and then you amortize that, the purchase, it's about $4,000 purchase. If you amortize that over, I forget what he was offering, like
This is
4
4 years.
years, so 48 months, you know, that's an additional, let's say, $100 a month. That really does, you know, so then we're back to a $600 a month, you know, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the last thing we want to be doing as an organization is worrying about
Our electronics.
our electronics, which we're going to
Right,
increasingly
and we
rely
can't
on.
work, if we don't have service, we can't, you know, our two folks here can't work really.
Right, and so now we're talking about linking Jason in with this office.
Just
Right.
need to
For
get
its
signed.
operation. So, with that in mind, I think that's,
I can start.
okay.
You're
Oh,
talking.
those are the existing
Mhm.
POs. So, I think that's pretty
feel com-
much, I don't have much more specific numbers with that maybe right now, but I think that's where, more or less where I was at.
All right, so
View-wise.
here's a question.
Mhm.
If we sign the lease, I know it says for a 4-year
Mhm.
roughly. If next year we decide that we'd rather purchase, do we have that option?
I don't believe so.
No, because we're getting into a 4-year lease.
Okay, I'm just,
Which, you know, at the end of the 4-year lease will actually give us flexibility to, if we need to do something different at that point.
And the 4-year really is, I mean, that timeline is chosen because that's a pretty typical lifespan
For a server.
for hardware,
Right.
yes.
And we wouldn't own it.
Right. So, you know, if we did, and I think he was using that as pretty much, if we bought the server outright,
right,
we
we'd
would
have
look
have
at
to
a
be
4-year, we would look at a 4-year horizon for
Right.
its maintenance and then its eventual replacement.
I'm okay with the lease option, I don't know what everybody else is thinking, but I know kind of planned obsolescence. You buy a computer and the minute you open it up, there's new stuff out there that you're constantly updating, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and included in this also is if anything, any hardware part breaks, you know, that,
It's all covered.
that's it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So did your motion, can you
I
amend your
will make
motion
a
to
motion
include?
that we
or-
include the $7,200 purchase rec for the server lease, and it is an annual payment for 4 years.
Thank you. And it's in the budget. And this way, I'm sorry to pester you about this, Mr. Chairman.
No,
but
no,
we-
that's okay,
we
it's
get
okay.
it-
I wish I
we
had.
get Get it started, because it'll take a while for them to
We need
order
a
it and get it
second
set
on
up. Oh, yeah, second now?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. And Chris, I just have something, I talked to you about this yesterday. This is something that has to get included in the chairman, into the commission report. You can take that with you. If we use any contingency money, it's gotta be reported out.
Right, so this is,
Yeah.
right, for the annual report. That's
And
good.
I don't have to hand you this, but still waiting for this.
Yes, I know
That's-
that, yeah, all of this,
I'm gonna be-
everything is interconnected,
And my time gets limited shortly, so.
yes.
And Kim will come back and she'll want this to be able to print, because the bills will go out toward the end of next week, so
Okay,
we can get that.
Right, that's the letter that was.
That's just the highlights that go in the
Right,
bills.
right.
It's
And
just,
then
it's just sort of.
Steve, I mean, Chris still has to write his
Yeah, that,
commissioner's
and
report.
he's got time to do that one.
Yes, that's
This
not
one,
due
this
till like
one,
February.
Kim's got the
Jumping at the
paper.
bit.
She's got the paper she wants to print on, but she's got time off now, and then I'm gonna be gone, so.
When is she back?
Is Monday Christmas the day after?
Okay, so she's on vacation right now?
Yeah,
I put a Christmas card on her desk.
She'll
For-
get-
No,
she'll-
for the office.
okay. Oh,
So
I'll get it.
You
All
get
right,
it.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Jude, that's helpful.
so
Put it-
I think by the end of the day Thursday, I should be able to,
All right,
is that reasonable?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I say tomorrow, that's,
I
Is
always,
it
My
Monday again?
I always try to plan
not too bad.
like a
but-
month ahead
Yeah.
with the stuff I've gotta do.
Yes.
Planning is the best.
Yeah, yeah, I try to teach folks to be.
Proper planning is the best.
Thinking of, yeah, good planning. Think about a month ahead.
Okay, can I make a motion we adjourn now?
Yeah,
At 20 after, yes.
yeah.
Awesome.